Alright, we're just going to test for a second, see how things go. We're running okay at the moment, so maybe I've fixed my... I don't know if you could really call it troubleshooting. Okay, I'm going to actually do the intro again. Well, folks, we're here for the Dutch Grand Prix. It is an 11-car field. The first car to settle up is Sanchez with a 1:10.861. Lap times coming in thick and fast. This stream could be a little bit loose since I'm half dead. Don't mind me, got a bit pretty bad chest cold, but I'm doing okay. We'll do our best. We've got a few drivers as Peroni goes for a bit of a spin. And I'm here with, of course, always the great Catcher. Catcher, welcome to one of our favourite circuits.
Yeah, I mean it's actually the same circuit as that great moment from a season ago, if you do recall. So there you go.
We won't discuss that. Your lawyers have told me to not discuss it, so...
You're right. You know, my dog sits on a bee.
So the first time that's been set is a 1:10.861 on the mediums by Sanchez. We're going to go through the championship points real quickly if I can. 13-point lead for Chandler over Skiffer, but as you see, Haas is not here tonight. So, you beauty. Fantastic. Sanchez in P3, you've got Kevin P4 and Busy in P5. Bailey in P6, but Bailey is not here tonight. Even as Ferrona goes to the top with 1:10.852. And then we got on the constructors, Mercedes, well, they're going to extend their lead no matter what, unless Chandler DNF's here tonight. So we'll see how it all plays out. Still very close to the mid-pack of the field for the constructors as well. So there's still a lot to play out for here in the championship. Maybe not at the top, but in the midway through the field, there is a bit still to play out for. As Peroni has a big crash, as you see right there, the Williams, I believe, I do not know why my track maps are, that is coming out of the last corner.
Yeah, we'll see a lot of that. We will see a ton of that, especially, you know, if weather played a factor, which it actually won't. Weather forecast is all dry, so there you go.
Well, compared to what last season when we had a wet start to dry end, when Ferrona almost shocked us all with that strategy. But it'll be an interesting one to see how it plays out here tonight in these dry conditions here at Zandvoort, or as I like to say, Max Verstappen track. Here is Moo Moo, P8 yet to start, well, complete a lap time so far, as Deer Hunter goes P1 with 1:10.760.
Yeah, Deer actually really likes this track. It's going to be something that he wants to, you know, make advantage of. I actually talked to him a little bit earlier today. He's like, yeah, I mean, it's only 11, so 3 points. Although, I mean, right now at that lap time, he's hoping for a little bit more than that. But Chandler's hoping for a better lap time.
Chandler's hoping to get pole, and Chandler's hoping to win the race by 40 seconds. That's what he's hoping for. But we'll see what Chandler can do here tonight after the craziness that Belgium was towards the end, when the ever-spoken controversy of the weather had erupted with everybody. And it was a big talking point throughout with everyone in the end of the race. But it's stayed stagnant for now. But we'll watch Chandler at the end of his lap so far. Purple sectors all the way through, and this looking like could be a very good lap for the Mercedes.
What I have noticed, though, is I've actually, from the 11 drivers, those that are out, have actually gone for a mixed tire set. Most have gone soft. Actually, I'm sorry, most have gone mediums. Few have gone soft, but Chandler has gone pole.
Well, you're right. A 109.727. And he goes pole midway through the
I was really hoping that he did that. That would have been bad if he didn't.
That would have been awkward. Here's who's validated his first lap so far. He's out in P9. The Red Bull driver will be looking to get a few points here tonight. Move his way up into the championship fight. So, steady as she goes so far. 10 minutes to go. Chandler possibly has already done his pole lap, but he's probably going to wrap it up and go to the pits and have a sleep. We'll see how it all pans out. As Sanchez goes P2.
He can't have a sleep because he's actually going to make the charge up here for some reason. I don't know. So once he gets back to the pit lane, I guess he wants to join. So there you go.
There we go. And Vizzy comes back into the lane. Nut out there on the lap as well. And you've got Hoop going for another time as well in this session. 9 minutes to go. And it's Chandler on top by half a second at this great circuit. As Wexler actually joins to make it an interesting battle. Still between the Haas and the Mercedes. In the Constructors fight at least. Even though the Drivers' Championship may be a question here tonight. At least the Constructors could have a good fight here tonight. We'll have to wait and see.
See, indeed, because that could very well play out a factor. I mean, drivers at this point is just Chandler and whoever wants to, step up whenever Chandler can't. But, Constructors, there's still 2 cars, and obviously there's only 1 Mercedes, and now with Wexro, 1 Haas. That's a game invite, not a party invite. I am done.
You are, sir. You are.
Wow, that's rude.
Yes, I'm very rude. I'm feeling very rude today. Chandler joins us, as you can see on
Bro,
the screen.
yeah.
As Fronut goes for a different route of the Sandford circuit, Chandler joins us. Chandler, how are you feeling with that lap so far?
It was pretty good. The middle sector was near perfect. The last sector, lots of time in it, 2/10, but that middle sector really helped it. So.
You think anyone could beat that lap?
No. The only person maybe Hoop, but I feel like he's going for a different strat. I think with the amount of people. Well, he's on softs right now, so he might be doing softs. He's backed out of this one or something, because that's a slow first. We'll see.
Why did you start taking our job halfway through the interview?
Why not?
You know what? Let's go with it.
I can interview while I race? Oh my gosh.
In race reporter.
In race reporter.
Yeah.
As Hoop actually does purple middle sector, but probably not a purple middle sector because we know what this game's like with spectator mode. Axe goes up in P2.
Yeah, he backed off.
There you go.
And yeah, there you go. Hoop backs off. And he's down in P9 here at the moment. We've still got Raptor out there on the medium tyres as well. I don't know. I really do not know what to ask you, to be honest. So, either way, of course, 12-point lead. No, 13-point lead. I don't have my glasses on in the championship. Skiffing on here. Could be a good night of points for you in the title fight.
Yep. Skither decided he wasn't going to race like last second, so could potentially pull the gap out another 25 points with the race win. But again, with these small grids, I mean, you can qualify mediums be like P5 because everyone just wants to go for the alt strat when there's not a lot of people. So we're going to have to see. But
as Raptor goes up into P5 on the medium tyres. We'll go for Raptor here tonight, possibly. See if he can get some good results here in this one. As Vizzy now goes up into P2 in the Alpine.
When is he not on the mediums? That's a strange question that I need to actually go. Someone in this chat needs to go figure it out eventually. How many races has Raptor qualified on in Tier 1 the last couple of seasons on the soft tire? Because I guarantee you it's like 5.
All of them.
What do you mean? On the mediums he's qualified on all of them. Come on, you know this.
Basically all of them, I'd say. We got Mr. VSR Roscoe out there on the lap as well. We got a few drivers doing laps here so far. Got Sanchez out there trying to see if he can improve on his time. He's in P4 at the moment. Raptor getting out of the way in a very awkward time, but he gets out of the way at the right moment. As we're coming up towards the end of this one. This is a random question I'm going to ask here because, you know, usually around this time we ask who's going to take pole. Chandler, who do you think is going to take pole for this one?
There you go.
Well,
Sanchez goes for a spin, don't mind me. And that's a big, big spin for him. But yes,
This is where you answer the question.
this is where you answer the question. And you say to me,
I mean,
you say to me that D-Hunter's going to get pole out of nowhere.
oh,
No,
right,
it's
right.
obviously Hoop. It's obviously Hoop. Come on.
I mean, Hoop is the only other person that could challenge me. He could do that lap, but I think he's going for the alternate strat. He wants to start mediums, it's clear.
Yeah, probably the way to go is D-Hunter comes into the lane here in this one so far. So there's only 3 cars out on circuit here at the moment. Ferronut's not on a good lap. Moomer's actually on a pretty decent lap here at the moment, trying to see if he can improve. As he's down in P8, Axe comes down into the lane Hoop. Of course, out there on those medium tyres. As we'll keep an eye on this Aston Martin and see if he can improve.
Yeah, remember about 5-6 minutes ago when I said it was a mixed bag of softs and mediums? Yeah, now it's just Raptor. Like usual. Oh, potentially Pirandi.
As Moomer goes up into P5. And Raptor the only one, but he's out there on the soft tyres.
There you go.
As in the chat, oi Chandler, you glow stick, go commentate a lap for us. Wow. Don't need to be rude to him.
What? 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 What?
The chat's having a go.
He's
What do I
actually
get
in
to
my DMs. He's
Well-
like, can I do it? I'm like, eh.
Well, Hoop's out there on a lap right now, these medium tyres. He's going to try to see if he can find something here at the moment. If he can... Well, he's going to be looking, trying to see if he can beat Raptor's lap, obviously, and try to be, maybe, in that top 5.
So do you want to commentate your lap there, Chandler?
See, I don't know if I actually could during the lap. That might be a bit tough. I can talk on straights, but it's probably just more of, oh, that was good, oh, that was bad. That's it.
Oh, Hoop.
Oh. Yeah, Hoop is, demolishing some brake marker boards.
Hoop absolutely going for it. And not working out for him here at the moment. And 3 laps on those medium tyres so far he has been on. So, 2:26 to go. Chandler makes his way out to possibly improve. We'll see if that's possible or not. That's Axe up in the middle sector so far. He is P3. Looking to maybe start P2.
And there's Hoop, up to 6th. So now he is actually the highest medium runner.
He
It's him and Raptor, but I think Raptor's on the soft, so yeah.
Yeah, P6 for Hoop. And yeah, that is definitely the highest medium runner so far. So he wouldn't mind that at all. As Axe, that's a big one.
That's not good.
That's a big one from Axe in the wall.
Ooh, busy.
As Vizzy as well.
Did he just pop up to 2nd?
Well, Vizzy...
I swear it was Axe then Vizzy. I could be just them.
Well, Vizzy got P2 a bit ago, but...
Okay, you know what? Hey, it's I can't even defend that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. Let's keep an eye out on things here at the moment.
Raptor boat out.
There we go.
He's gonna try to start on the medium.
Yeah, he's going to start on the medium tyres. He's happy with that. And we've got D-Hunter, who's going to be starting off very shortly with a lap. Ferronut out there on a lap as well. And you also got Roscoe out there as well. Here is Chandler. He's up in the middle sector. He's going to have to hope that he doesn't bottle through here. Let's keep an eye on Chandler's data here. And try to hear the heavy breathing of this absolute stellar lap that it could be. The pressure's on to get pole to beat his own time.
Oh dear.
Now you
Oh, this is nice. Oh.
as Miller gets out of the way. Still slightly up. Oh! It's not bad. We'll see how he goes through the last part of the track in the Mercedes. And see if he can improve.
That was
Cost myself about a 10th there, but
There you go. Like 3 or 4 moments that you honestly could have lost it.
9599. And yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Vizzy, no improvement. Sanchez up in the P3 with missed that just moments ago. We got Moo Moo out on a lap. Hoop is going to try to improve again. No, Hoop is down on this lap so far. Roscoe, next one to cross the line. He is P10. We're going to see what he can do on these medium tyres. Looking for some points for McLaren tonight, but he bails into the pits. So, next one is going to be D Hunter. We're going to see if he can bounce ahead of Hoop. He full position, and no, he's gone for it. And he does. D Hunter gets a top 5. Hoop puts back into the pit lane. Here comes Ferrari Nut now. He's done. So really no one left. Moo has basically just did the same Phoenix did.
That's now what, 3 in one corner alone? I told you that's going to be a corner to watch out for. I didn't expect 3 in one session.
Me either. That was a big interest there here in this one so far. So Chandler takes pole. And Chandler, how do you feel with the lap?
Well, that was a bit of a goofy lap. But somehow it was fast, so now we just have to convert it to a win. That's the goal anyway. Whether it happens or not, I don't know, but yeah.
Look how the mod in says that you fraud is bullying. Interesting. Okay. Anyway, Chandler's on top for qualifying.
Yep. And I've got to use the bathroom, so I'm gonna go.
Goodbye.
But yeah.
I'm sure we'll see you in 45 minutes. Well, that was interesting. Chandler's on top, Vizzy second, Sanchez in third, Alex fourth, D Hunter fifth, and the rest of the mini runs is Hoop in P7.
You know, Chandler just basically took my job for about 18 minutes, so there you go. You don't need me after all.
Yeah, that's right. Don't need you at all.
I'm disposable.
Perondi with a superb time of a 1:20.905 on those medium tyres. So he'll be sun down in P11 after the crazy victory that it was at the Belgium Grand Prix. So we'll see how he goes here tonight. But the battle in turn 1, it's going to be Chandler and Vizzy.
I want to point out something. Hoop is starting on 7 lap old mediums. He already has half a tire stint out of the way.
Hey, well, don't forget, eons ago, I forget who it was. I think it was Chunky Snags.
Snags? It was Chunky Snags. 30 laps on the medium.
Yeah.
And then he got 2 punctures, but we're going to talk about the last part.
I'm pretty sure that was not this game. I'm pretty sure it was the last game.
Yeah, it was 2020, I believe.
Yeah, it was the last game that happened.
The good old Renault.
Yes. So, about to get things underway here. Thoughts on race victory here tonight, Katra?
Well, I'd be dumb not to choose Chandler. Just straight up. Because, I mean, at the moment, what I've seen is, I mean, I don't really, other than, I mean, because basically, unlike last week, it's not like a situation of, oh, these guys may be trying to prep for different strategies come, when is the rain coming? No, this is going to be completely dry the whole way, so this is straight up just pace. And what I've seen, a lot of guys who are on the sauce, which is most of the grid except for maybe 3 who qualified on the medium, was not even near Chandler, maybe about 5/10 at maximum, or I'm sorry, at minimum away. So I mean, Chandler, if he keeps it on the track and just gets away from penalties, which is not very difficult to get actually. Not many. I think no one actually had a penalty in Tier 2 not too long ago. So if he just stays on the track, doesn't make mistakes, doesn't get penalties, he should theoretically come on and win this race.
Yeah, I'm trying to think here. I think it's more out of that first sector if you go a little bit wide. So yeah, penalties is not really a big factor at all unless you're really going with the limits around
Yeah.
here. So yeah, it's not really a factor here. So we'll see how it all pans out. Don't forget tomorrow, folks, if I'm still alive and I'm still awake after watching the Indy 500, it is ACC. It's the Nürburgring 90-minute race. Join us then for that. If I've woken up in time or not, you'll have to wait and see how that all pans out. So,
The best day in racing. Can't wait.
yes, enjoy. If you are watching the Monaco Grand Prix and Indy 500, do sure to enjoy that. For us overseas people, usually Monaco Grand Prix is the one that we get our sleep in before the Indy 500. But who knows, it could be a wet night there tonight. It could make for an interesting race. So we'll see how Monaco turns out tonight. And of course also the Coca-Cola 600 for those who watch that.
Yeah!
And also, if you're watching as well, the Nürburgring 24 hours on right now. There's been some poor, interesting stuff happening there at the moment. A KTM caught in fire and then
Ooh.
going downhill with no driver in it, still on fire. That was one of the most interesting things I ever saw about 3 a.m. this morning.
Joey Chitwood couldn't do that.
I told you, folks, this is going to turn into a podcast in a second. I'm just preparing myself. But who knows? Canada was crazy when we had these sort of numbers. And it could be crazy here tonight. Even though this track is kind of like Monaco. And nothing could happen. So, we'll see.
Very much true.
Starsane, Chandler, P1, Hoot P2, Axe P3. But unfortunately, I hope Axe gets a good result here tonight. Sometimes Axe can have a bit of a bottle. No offense, Axe. We love you.
Oh, he's not finishing now.
There's a ride on the points. And there you go. Axe only a P2 in Portugal. And this championship is going to be heating up with the last few rounds to go before F1 2020. Mexico lines up at the back. We're about to get underway for the Dutch Grand Prix. It's Chandler, it's Vizzy, and it's racing. It's a good start for Chandler. He gets the jump that he wanted. The Aston Martin looks like he's going to try to come through. That being Sanchez. He's going to move up into P2 possibly, and he does. He goes up into second. Chandler leads. Mumu and Axe battle out for position. And Fink's a bit steady in the back. Raptor's around. Oh, Peronding's out, and Raptor. And it's a virtual safety car. That's a big incident there.
Yeah, it wasn't very clean all throughout the field, because not only just those two had their incident going in to turn 4, I believe. Well, there was a little bit of a accordion factor. Deer in the back of Hoop, Hoop in the back of Axe, and I believe Axe may have touched the back of Mumu. Do any of those have damage? Probably not. It wasn't very hard, but, well, not very clean to the first sector and a half.
Yeah, it was, you could see throughout the field, it was all bunched up with each other, and it was quite an interesting one. No doubt about it. Virtual safety car for a big incident here on lap 1. Peronding out, Raptor out. Lap 1 for Peronding so far this season hasn't been good for him, especially in these shorter car races. So, Chandler, where he wants to be. He's in a good spot, and just waiting for this VSC to conclude here in this one. Roscoe, so pretty much everyone now is going to get points. There you go.
Well, there you go. It's a blessing in disguise for some. So if guys like, for example, Deer, who wanted maybe just any points to keep his streak alive, especially because he's actually finished on the points in all Tier 1 races so far. Oh, look at this, Axe.
Wow.
On Mumu.
Saw that in the background. These two are going to go side by side, Axe and Mumu. And Mumu's going to hold on. Axe will go back down to P5. And Hoop's coming up into this fight as well between these guys. So, tense battling going on here in the opening laps here at the Dutch Grand Prix. Here comes
Oh, look at
Hoop.
Hoop. Oh.
Close moment there. Hoop looked for the opportunity. Deer Hunter goes for on Hoop. D absolutely trying to go for it. And here comes Ferrari up behind as well. The two Ferraris right with each other here at the moment. So Chandler leads, but only by 0.4. He's going to try to see if he can bridge that gap over that DRS, because DRS can be an important factor around here to get a move done.
Or, you know, in the on the contrary, his axe did have a little bit of damage, I believe. He's in the pit lane now, but, well, now you have the topic of DRS trains, because it's now active. Oh, here we go.
Welcome to Sanborn, as the DRS trains have, well, start to begin. And it's Chandler who's got the Sanchez behind him, Vizzy behind him. Mumu's a little bit further back from Vizzy, but Hoop is slowly trying to close in on Mumu here, full position. That'd be a great spot for Mumu, for Hoop to be in, especially on those medium tyres.
Well, keep in mind, however, he is on the mediums, but he's actually had 9 laps on those tires. 7 in qualifying and 2 here. So he actually is not very good on tire. I mean, obviously the tires here is not going to be bad. The drop-off is pretty much null, and he's actually going to go for this here.
Yeah, he looks a little bit of a touch. And Hoop, he's trying to seize the opportunity, but he just couldn't get it done. Got the two Ferraris right with each other as well. Let's see what Hoop does here. Does he try to seize an opportunity here? As Sanchez gets the fastest lap of the race. That's a Ferrari down in the wall.
And that's a Hoop down the inside.
Gets it done. Mumu's going to try to fight it back. If he possibly can. Side by side, these two will go. Oh, my goodness me. That allowed Dion to get into the top 5. That
Only just. He's still going to go for it, though. There you go.
Wow. Ferrari comes into the lane. And Steer Hunter gets the move done up into P5. Superb job by him there to get that move done. As Hoop now clean air. He can try and see if he can get up to that top 3.
Yeah, speaking of the top 3, I mean, we've seen Vizzy up there at podium, I think, twice in Portugal and obviously a week ago. But one face I do want to talk about, because, I mean, Chandler's been up the front pretty much almost in every season he's been in the last maybe 3 or 4 or 5 seasons or so in BRL, whenever he's been in. Oh, correction, 3 or 4, not 5. But one thing I do want to say on is Sanchez. He's actually been quite a dark horse in this championship fight already. 8 races in, this will be the 8th. He's kind of setting up a good portfolio of finishes.
Oh, he is. Absolutely is. And he's interested to see if he finds the opportunity to make the move as Mumu gets a speeding penalty. If he finds the opportunity on Chandler, will he go for it? Will he send it? Be interested to see how it all pans out. We're on lap 5:36, and this is the battle for the lead. Chandler versus Sanchez. It's going to be an interesting battle. We know Sanchez, when he sees the opportunity, he'll go for it. How's this going to play out? And we're only on lap 5. There's a long way to go, and Vizzy's out of DRS range.
One thing to point out, though, is that DRS is oh so powerful, like we talked about all those times, especially here, because, I mean, there's 2 DRS zones, and you really can't overtake. But, however, I honestly think it's not that much of an advantage as you would think. Look at Chandler, he has actually has absolutely all of his ERS, 100% as it was, and he is that, metaphorically sitting duck on the straightaway, but yet he's still able to defend from Sanchez even with the DRS, and he's used a considerable amount of ERS. I mean, he's obviously not using it now, but I think right now, I don't know, would you want to be the leading car or the car behind? Because regardless, there's still a long way to go. It's a game of chess at 200 miles an hour.
Skippy saying, just said it already. Skip, this is a tier 4. So, yeah. No offense to our tier 4 brethren. But, yeah, I don't know. Usually around here, I'd say being at the front's probably a nicer point to be in. But around here being the chaser, it's a tough one. It's a tough one to really fight for it around here, because what you're hoping for is the guy ahead to make a slight mistake, and then you try to seize that opportunity for the move. It's a tough thing around here. It's an absolute tough thing. And that's what Sanchez is going to be hoping for, possibly. And that's why he's using his battery. He's hoping for Chandler to make a slight mistake, and then for Sanchez to come through, possibly at turn 1, and go for the move. But it's not going to be easy around here. And Chandler just proves right there, 12, 6, 8, 9, that he's strong with pace at the front.
Yeah, I mean, another thing is, though, is there's not many, overtaking opportunities on the circuit itself. Because you see, there's 2 DRS zones, normally in this modern era of Formula 1, which has been somewhat assisted in the new generation of cars with the F122. But here, it's, you need, metaphorically, especially at a track like this, where there's so many corners that you need a lot more of that clean air, that downforce on your car, that front wing or the rear wing. You just need that DRS to help you. Well, the 2 places you pretty much can overtake by late braking with assisted DRSs, I believe that is, yes, that is. That is on track, and that's going to be a safety car. Well, that changes everything for everyone on softs, but medium runners, goodbye.
Goodbye, yeah. And, ooh, that's a big one there for Mumu. Let's see what these soft runners do here at the moment. Yeah, the medium runners, boy, that hurts them so much. That hurts them a lot. Unless, who knows? We'll see. We'll see what goes down here at the moment. Chandler in, Sanchez in, Vizzy in. Does Hoop follow? He doesn't. D Hunter in, Wexero does pit, and so does Roscoe.
Well, if I'm Wexero and Roscoe, I mean, obviously you have that opportunity because there's only 9 cars. Take that in mind. You can go on a pair of hards, which Wexero is doing right now. Same with Vizzy. And you can come in about a lap later, get off those hards, put on a new set of mediums, as you technically classified that 2 out of 3 compound rule. And since there's only 9 cars, you're not going to lose many spots. The downside is you may lose a little bit of track position, but bright side is the mediums go to the end and are the better race tire anyway, so cut your losses.
Basically. Yeah, that's basically the gist of it. And we'll see how basic it towards the end of this race as Nut comes into the lane once again. He's going to go for another set of medium tyres. The medium tyres go on for him. So, 9 runners left in the race. We're on lap 8 of 36. And Hoop is your race leader with, as you said before, a big time load on those medium tyres, of course, that he didn't qualify.
Yeah, because that's now going to be 14 laps on his mediums, like total from qualifying to race. Now, obviously, the tire wear is not very, demanding here. I mean, that's what we said with Chunky earlier, taking those mediums 30 laps or so a game ago, and the tire wear is actually a bit better this game, so maybe you could even go for a little bit longer. However, the downside is now with Hoop is he still has those laps on his tire regardless. Now, there's everyone behind him, Chandler and Sanchez more specifically, who chose to go on fresh mediums, which obviously they have to. Well, now they're going to have a little bit of a pace advantage. But now Hoop's just hoping that he can, last out, stay in the lead, defend as best as possible, and stay in a striking distance of the leaders so that whenever he pits for a set of softs, he can come in and charge to the field and get on the podium again. But weirdly enough, I was saying about Wexero and Vizzy about maybe they would go in and go out for a set of mediums. They've actually stayed out on the hard, so they're thinking track position over tire compound.
Yeah.
And then there's Roscoe.
Roscoe. Yeah, Roscoe is just going for a completely different strategy altogether, really. But yeah, that's an interesting one, those guys going on the hards. It is early in the race, so usually early in the race people go for weird strategies. It always happens. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out at the end here, especially with Hoop. See how his race can pan out. So, Mumu calls it the safety car. Brody Raptor coming together on the opening lap. Bring up the VSC, and we should be... No, we're going to go for another lap, because Nut has not got up to the field. So lap 9.
Well, that actually gives a second chance, though.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Because he had that incident in actually the same place he crashed at qualifying.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Gives him more of an opportunity. There's the reminder of the points. Chandler right now in a good step for some points here tonight to extend that lead in the championship even more, and especially for Mercedes as well. Even though Wexford P6 so far, he's going to try to keep the Haas boys' opportunity as we are, of course, coming down to the wire in this championship. Of course, Monza next week, and then we've got Japan, we've got USA, we've got Mexico, and Brazil to end it all.
Yeah. It's winding down.
Before the new game ever so approaching. So, we should get back underway this lap. Hoop at the front. We'll just see how Sanchez tries to attack it out with Chandler earlier on, if he really tries to push it. Be an interesting battle. Vizzy on the hard tyres. As after rejoins. D Hunter P5. He'll be pretty happy with that. Wexero P6. Roscoe P7 on the sauce. He's just going to try to cause some carnage. Axe P8 and Ferrari Nut in P9. So it's going to be a battle here as... Okay.
Oh.
So that, well, this, how's this going to end?
Well, someone's getting disqualified. I don't know if that will be Hoop or the rest of the field. Regardless, something is going to happen. I think they are checking up massively back there.
Well, everyone's probably sitting trying to wonder what the hell's going on. Yes,
Because Hoop can't let the safety car through. He's trying. He's actually doing a ton of 11s, by the way.
Yeah. I'm trying to see how this...
Huh.
We'll stick on board here with Hoop. There's Chandler. Those guys are going to be so back there.
Because you see his telemetry. The game is slowing him down.
Yeah.
Because he's not braking, and he's... Huh. How is this going to work?
Well, this could end in tears in a second.
Oh, it will end in tears. I think Hoop's either going to be disqualified or something else is going to really happen in the game. I don't know what else.
I'm going to watch Sanchez and Chandler here.
Well, there they go.
Hoop goes. And no disqualifications. Interesting. Interesting to say the least.
Well, there'll be something going on.
Yeah, meanwhile, Wexler and D-Hunter go at it here for position. And yes, indeed, Sket. As D-Hunter and Wexler go side by side. D looks to go for it on Vizzy. And you got Roscoe in the fight as Wexler has a big moment. And he's going to lose a couple of positions.
Oh, look at Sanchez and Chandler.
Yeah.
They actually almost went for it.
Yeah, I told you, Sanchez, he might try to look for it on Chandler here early. He might try to look for it here early. And seeks the opportunity, especially with Hoop up ahead. We'll see if he can do that or not. It's going to be an interesting battle here at the moment. Go back any event, he could have had something null and void. Yeah, exactly. I think it will be null and void. I think he's given back the advantage that he had, and obviously the game saw that as well. So up 11 to 36 here in this Grand Prix, coming up to lap 12, and we got Sanchez. He would have loved some DRS, but of course Chandler will have some as well. So it's going to be an interesting fight between these three and see how it all ends up here. Vizzy's still sticking with them as well, as D-Hunter and Roscoe are about to have a bit of a ding-dong battle.
Yeah, right now, Roscoe obviously has to stop again, because the softs cannot make it to the end of the Grand Prix. And I believe he did start on the medium. But even if he did start on the medium, he still can't make it, because the softs can't go that far, like I just said a second ago. But everyone else, I think, theoretically can make it to the end, barring Hoop, who still needs to stop, because you can't, do a no-stop in the dry conditions. But Hoop would love to do a dry stop, or a no-stop, rather.
If only.
If I fix this.
If only. He could do that. And a lot of people would try to do that if that was the case. Here is Deer Hunter, who's closing up here on Vizzy. Roscoe's closing up on this fight as well. Ag's not too far behind in P7 as well. So these guys all absolutely going for it here at the moment. As we're closing in on that DRS being enabled very shortly.
There you go.
There we go. So now the story of the DRS comes into play. Chandler getting close here to Hoop. Every opportunity he can get. Sanchez. Chandler has a slight moment. Sanchez trying to stick with him as best as he possibly can. To try to see if he can see some opportunities. Deer Hunter now goes up into P4.
Yeah, Vizzy lost a lot of the time. He actually almost did the same thing Wexro did on the safety car restart. And, well, thankfully for him, he kept it out of the barriers and was able to actually save that car, but had no runoff. Deer Hunter goes up to 4th. It's, you know, do as you do now.
Yeah, that's right. It is going to be an interesting one to say the least. Busy now, P5. He's got the ever-present of Roscoe sitting behind. So it'll be interesting to see. Roscoe can try to find something here at the moment. Lap 13 to 36, coming up lap 14. Hoop holds the lead. He's still yet to pit. Oh, he got close to the wall there as Chandler looks for the opportunity for the lead. This will be important for him. Hoop's going to fight it. Side by side, these two will go. Sanchez wants to get close as he possibly can, but he won't be able to because Chandler takes the lead.
Well, I'm not sure if you saw that, but that was marginally there. That Hoop, if he went over that curb anymore, he was gone. That was a heck of a save from the Red Bull.
It's a hell of a battle between those two, and both of them could have both gone. So, stay steady as she can, and that's what happens. And Chandler leads. Hoop second, and Sanchez in P3. So now Sanchez is going to be the one trying to see if he can get past Hoop for P2 here in this race. That's what he's going to be looking for. With still many laps to go. We're coming to lap 15 now of this Grand Prix. Still big fight here between Axe. Got Wexero in this as well. Roscoe and Vizzy as well. And Deer Hunter, the DRS train on P4.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's just difficult to break that DRS train. I mean, that's right now what Chandler wants to do. That's why he overtook Hoop so aggressively, and he did not try to just let him have it, even though there's lap 15. There's still a long way to go, because if you can break that DRS of Hoop, as for at pits, by the way, I believe that's front wing damage. If he breaks that DRS train and DRS of Hoop, and he still is ahead, Hoop that is still ahead of Sanchez, Chandler can find a way to get out of the gap and have to not worry about that Aston Martin ever again. That's the same thing that's happening, by the way, as...
There was contact. Him and Roscoe going side by side, and it just didn't end well. And luckily for Axe, he's not out of the race, but he might have some damage.
I mean, I think the contact was square enough that it wasn't too bad. I mean, if anything, if there is damage, it's slight. Because, I mean, well, obviously he still has visual there. I mean, he may have even escaped with his front wing. That would have been lucky for him.
Massively, massively. So, lap 15 here, 36. And Chandler and Hoop and Sanchez. This freeway fight, it's still on. It's still on. Hoop's still sticking with Chandler here. Hoop might even try to stick with Chandler as long as he can. And hope for a late safety car to bring back in it as Axe, indeed, has wing damage.
So there you go. So he did have some slight wing damage, which is, you know, thankful for him, but also, I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's still wing damage in a track like this where you need that downforce, you need that front wing. Any damage is race ending. So that's pretty much going to put him back. With Ferrari, they'll have a good old scrap for 8th and call it a day. That's barring any safety cars, which still technically could happen. We've seen a lot of safety cars over the course of this weekend for the Dutch Grand Prix, but, you know, I mean, with how the race has been so far, everyone's spread out, yet they're still close together, if that makes sense. There's like multiple groups, so if one person spins, if it's at the end of a group, you better pray that it's the end of the second group, because there's no way, especially at a track like this, unless that car ghost, there's no way you're avoiding that. Not here.
No way, you're not avoiding that here at all. It's tough. It's tough around here. As Deer Hunter absolutely trying to break that slipstream of Vizzy. Not trying to give Vizzy the opportunity to go for the move at any opportunity. So Hoop's still sticking with Chandler. And Sanchez probably just hoping for these two to have an incident, but it's very rare for these two to have an incident from the past. So it's going to be interesting to see how it really all ends here and what's Hoop's mindset in these last few laps, especially when we're coming up to the halfway point.
Yeah, Hoops had 23 laps of these tires, counting qualifying and the race. I keep bringing that up because it's quite still impressive how little the drop-off is this entire circuit as a whole for tire wear. I mean, look at this. Chandler is on fresher mediums, 8 laps, and then you look behind him and you have about, let's say, 19-ish, 18 lap older tires as a whole from usage-wise, from qualifying and the race itself, and he's still right there. Half a second, the gap between the Red Bull and the Mercedes. Now, the only issue with this being, he's really getting that advantage from Chandler, but he is not going to want to stop. Because once you get into a rhythm as a driver, you don't want to go in and, oh, well, I got to go say it again. Well, theoretically, he's like, well, I don't need it. I already have the race. I'm already keeping up with Chandler, the leader, and who arguably is the quickest, if not the quickest cars this entire night. Why would you stop it? You know, forcibly, he has to because of that date. You have to use 2 of the 3 tire compounds. He has soft or hard. I'm pretty sure he will not go on to that hard compound.
I doubt.
Just a hunch.
I doubt he'll be going on the hard tires. Be a hell of a different strategy for him to go for, but I doubt he'll be going the hard tires here in this one.
Put an Albon.
Alex with the first, yeah, Albon. Vizzy closing up on D Hunter here for the battle for P4 here in this race. You got Wexero in P7. Roscoe's still sticking with these guys. I wonder what Roscoe goes on at the end. Roscoe will probably go on another set of soft tyres because he did not do many laps, do many runs in qualifying here in this race. The margin's starting to come down a little bit more between Chandler and Hoop, but again, DRS is just helping a bit more for Hoop to stay with it, as Chandler gets the fastest lap of the race. So he's looking to do that, and he's looking to do that comfortably. Vizzy and D Hunter, as I said again, this battle, 4-way battle for P4 in this race. The DRS trains all happening here at the moment, here in this one. And right now, I'll tell you what, D would not mind being in P4 at the moment. He would like to, no, indeed, he would like to be in the top 3, guys. But for him, I think a P4 at the moment, not crashing or anything, no penalties. He's still pretty alright here at the moment.
Well, he is actually net P3, because remember, Hoop has to stop. So if he can actually keep this gap low enough, because the pit lane is still, I mean, what, 16 maybe at the minimum time loss? So Deere could theoretically, on the road, still be ahead of Hoop, even after his stop, if he can maintain it where it is now. Because even with fresher tires, it's not going to mean much. I mean, look at with Hoop and Chandler right now. I've already pointed that out, how much the difference between Hoop and Chandler is about 15-ish laps. But it's also track position-wise. I mean, Deer Hunter has significantly less battery than Vizzy. Oh, never mind. Look at Vizzy.
On the move. And can Vizzy hold on to this great camera angle game? These two go side by side.
Oh, no.
And we've seen that so many times at this circuit. Side by side around here can always end in tears, as that brings Roscoe up into a top 5. And Vizzy now back into P7. Wow.
That may even put him on the podium.
It possibly could. Possibly could.
Because, I mean, theoretically, the stewards will look at that, because I'm sure there's 2 sides to every story.
Oh, absolutely.
Vizzy's once again thinking, well, he did not give me space at all. I had to curb to my right, and then all of a sudden, here comes the red car. Well, Deere is like, there's no way that you would have actually made that corner with the angle you took. There's nothing I can do. So, I mean, let's see what the stewards think of that, if it even is reported at all. Right now, that actually lost Deere about a second and a half or so to that group up front. That's going to cost them a bit if Hoop does come into the lane anytime soon, which is probably actually closer than we think.
He'll be thinking in his head, do I wait and hope for a safety car? Or do I wait for the right lap time to come in to make up that time back and get position as much as I can? That's what he's going to be thinking. As Vizzy comes into the lane, damage for him, unfortunately. But yeah, that's going to be the mindset of Hoop right now. Safety car?
Yeah, I mean, that's the strategy call.
Or...
Because, I mean, like...
Or pit... Well, really, as you said, any time from now to go and try to make up as many positions as you can.
That's the issue, though. Because, I mean, with both sides, this is obviously the nature of strategy, the chess game that is Formula 1. If you pit, and there is a safety car, well, you're kind of screwed now. However, let's say there's no safety car, and you stay out, and you have to come in. Obviously, it's a given. You have to come in. There's no exceptions. There's no rain forecasted. There's no exception to a rule. No, you have to come in. You have to use 2 compounds. Hoop knows this. So there's 2 options. Stay out as late as possible and get a safety car. Or in the alternative, there's no safety car. You either pit the last chance you get, pull an Albon from Australia and just do 35 laps on the medium and 1 lap on the softs. However, the counterpoint to that is you have no time to use that soft, so you have to get that gap before you pit.
Exactly.
Now, the other side of it, if you pit with the softs before, maybe 10 laps or so away from the end of the Grand Prix, you have to give yourself enough time that not only your tires can make it without losing performance, but enough time that you can use that performance to overtake people. Because you can get to someone with fresher tires, you can't overtake them. We've seen that from Sanchez is stuck behind Hoop, who has significantly older tires. Roscoe is on 13-lap-old softs, by the way. Wexro, who has the arguably better compound right now, is stuck behind him. It's that kind of Grand Prix. You have to get on the road before you can think about, strategy call. Because track position has trumped strategy today.
Absolutely. Absolutely has. And that's going to be the call to see how it all pans out. Hoop stays out. So he still goes around once again. We're on lap 23 and 36 in this Grand Prix. Roscoe, I think in a couple of laps time is going to lose that DRS to D-Hunter. Well, depending if he comes into the lane or not, which I suspect Roscoe will very soon. Because Roscoe's losing time and Wexro's trying to get with him, but he just can't at the moment here in this Grand Prix. And the battle with Hoop and Chandler still rages on here at the moment. So it's an intriguing one to see how this is going to end for Hoop. He's just got to find something. He's just got to find when his opportunity will be. It's Vizzy now. Gets the fastest lap of the race. He's down in P9.
I think the pit window, because what I've heard from Chandler, especially before this Grand Prix, is, you wanted to take those softs around 13-ish at the maximum, 13 laps that is. So if that is the case, the pit window is now open for Hoop.
Yeah, that's... It's going to be when he wants to do it. That's basically it. When he wants to do it. I think if we get to a point where on lap 27, 28, he's hoping for a safety car. I think that if we get to a point of that time, I think he's hoping for a safety car. However, if he comes to the next few laps, we know what his plan is. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all ends here at the moment. So, Chandler, Hoop, Sanchez, D-Hunter. Could be a podium for D-Hunter. Oh my goodness me, that'll be crazy. Axe with the fastest lap of the race. He's down in P7. What could have been for him throughout this Grand Prix? He was looking pretty half decent. Ferrone up P8 and Vizzy down in P9. So, we're getting close here to 10 to go very soon. And Sanchez... Well, Sanchez probably would have hoped to get by Hoop by now, but it's just not really worked out for him, as we've said before. It just hasn't found the chance to go for the move past because Hoop's been all over the back of Chandler We just helped him out, and Hoop goes around for another lap.
Yeah, right now, I mean, the lap in which the safety car has to come in and cannot be deployed again at the end of lap 34. So you have to have 2 laps of green flag racing, so 35 and 36, and you need to have at least 1 lap minimum of the safety car obviously coming out and then going back in. So lap 33 is the absolute latest it can be called out. So, because of that, that's where Hoop's like, can I make it to there? Every lap he's like, okay, judge this. How much is this different? Because I mean, obviously you can see the gap is a little bit larger than it was maybe a few laps ago. It's still not very large. It's still manageable. And, you know, obviously he has about 31-ish laps on these tires compared to Chandler's 16. So it's quite a, you know, interesting feat that he has this tire wear and can keep it as close as Chandler. Now, the real thing is, though, is can the laps wind down fast enough? Because he still has to, I mean, it's a huge dilemma on his mind. He doesn't have a team of pit wall engineers on the board saying, okay, well, what is the time loss if we do this? What is the time loss? No, he has one person, maybe another one, but he has his own brain while he's driving, while he's braking, while he is accelerating, etc. Can he get it right?
I apologise for interrupting you, but meanwhile, Wexro's going to get this radio Roscoe. I think the softs are gone for Roscoe, and Wexro goes into the top 5. I said it before, I said, give it a couple laps, and I think those softs will die off for him, and they have. So Roscoe down to P6, and I'd say he'll probably come in for another set of soft tyres, and see what he can gain out of it, because he's still got Axe about 20 seconds behind. So Ross could still sneak a P6 here in this race, depending where he comes out, and well, depending when he's going to pit, unless Roscoe's trying to be a bit crazy and trying to take these tyres till the end, which good luck to him.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. At this point, you have the gap. The pit lane delta is not very large, and he has that gap. At this point, I would just bite the bullet, take the box, get the softs on, go to the end of the race, and at least just take a P6. What he could also be doing, on the contrary, is kind of similar to what Hoop is doing, hoping for that safety car now. If he's doing that, he's going to waste... There we go.
Soft
so
tyres.
That should pull Roscoe in, too.
So he waited for about 10 to go, Hoop.
Yep.
And here we go. Yeah, Ross is in as well. So Hoop, he's got the challenge now to hunt down Wexero and D-Hunter to get that podium here in this race. And the margin is going to be around about 6 or so seconds. Yeah, so that's an easy thing to get. But of course you got to get past them towards the end of this race with 10 to go. So that's what Hoop's going to be looking for. Try and see if he can get past Wexero and D-Hunter.
Thankfully for Hoop, for him, Wexro doesn't have DRS yet. Now he is within that 1 second of DRS, but that's only marginally. So if he can stay there...
Not if he does that.
And,
Jesus,
well, yeah.
He was in the grass there for a second. Oh,
well, he still got it.
He still got it. Yeah, he's all right.
So yeah, with Wexero being in the DRS, this hurts him. Because, I mean, it's an easy overtake with the DRS, and the car in front of you doesn't have DRS when you have the better tire. But if that car has the DRS, I mean, take a look at Sanchez and Hoop's situation, for example, for that long period of time. Sanchez couldn't do anything, even though, you know, he had the better tire wear at that point. So if Wexero is not in the DRS, which he's not right now, Hoop has a chance, but he has to close in fast enough. Can he do it?
I think he can. Absolutely. He's already brought that margin down quite quickly already. So I think Hoop will seize it. See, though, if he can get it done and pass him. Meanwhile, the margins come down between this top 2. Sanchez is sticking with Chandler. But once again, we spoke about it, you spoke about before, look at the battery. 100%, 40. Sanchez with 40 and Chandler with 100. That just shows you right there the story of this race. Chandler comfortably controlling the race, controlling his battery. Sanchez pushing as much as he can, but I don't think it's going to help him because Chandler has that battery under him right now. And really the only chance for Sanchez is a mistake for Chandler. up the front.
Honestly, if Chandler wanted to, he could quickly drop Sanchez. Just deploy that battery and get out of that second. He's obviously, I mean, there's Hoop with the fastest lap, which is quite expected.
There we go.
But if Chandler really wanted to and drop Sanchez, he could try and go and deploy everything he has, get out of that 1 second, and just ride. Because obviously he is considerably quicker than Sanchez, just based on off the basis of look at the ERS itself. Sanchez is down at one point going through that corner there, 33% compared to Chandler's 81. On pure battery deployment, Sanchez has used a little bit more. Hey, that's exaggerated, by the way, throughout the course of this Grand Prix. So if Chandler wanted to, just, use all of it, get out of the way, don't even worry about it. But he's not. He's tactically thinking about this. Using all of it. And in a way, he's playing with his food. He thinks he's making Sanchez have the mindset of, I'll have a chance. In reality, with one push of a button, he's gone.
He's gone. Absolutely. Absolutely, he's gone. And he knows that. We know Chandler knows that. He knows one push, he'll be gone. He'll blaze away. We'll see how it all plays out. We're coming up to 6 to go. Hoop is down 1.8 behind Wexero. Wexero's actually lost time to Deer to 2.1, so Deer's just got a bit more pace on him here at the moment. Roscoe P6. Axe with the first and only penalty of the night throughout the field. He's down in P7 for Onut, and then Vizzy, who's actually slowly starting to catch for Onut as well for P8 in this Grand Prix. So that could be a fight to look out for later on. But the real fight right now is Hoop. He's closing up that gap, and he could be moments away getting that DRS of the Haas ahead.
It's actually, we talk about trends quite a lot in the booth here. The last couple of weeks, we talk about how the weather's staying somewhat consistent. At Monza in a couple of weeks, we'll talk about, the many antics we'll see there. But one thing I have noticed, a trend from a season ago rather, this is now the second race in a row we've had a Red Bull chasing down on a better tire. Ferrari not a season ago, now it's Hoop.
Well, there we go. Trends all happening here at the moment. Hoop's going to send it here. He does. Wexero's not going to fight it, or is he? Oh, Wexero. A little bit over the curve there, but he tried to maybe fight for it, but he just didn't have the chance. Hoop on the better tyre, and he's got 2 more seconds, and he's up with Deer for the podium position, which I don't think Hoop will mind getting the P3, but could have been a better race for him. Which, by the way, Deer is on 3% battery. He is hammering that battery at the moment.
Yeah, he is, and Hoop is hammering the curbs. He almost went off the track there. He's trying to get everything out of this, by the way.
Chandler is pushing. Chandler is pushing.
Yeah, he is. There you go.
The battery's come down, and he's absolutely going for it. I think he just wants to have a comfortable position with these last few laps. That's what he's going for, and maybe going for trying to see if he can go fast lap, but I don't think that's going to happen because of Hoop's zooming soft tyre pace here at the moment. 1.6 now to Deer Hunter, and I'm sure on this straight, on the next lap, you're going to see Hoop looking for the move here, quite possibly. Wexero still sticking with the back of Hoop. Wexero could try to stick with Hoop, use Hoop to try to get him back up towards Deer Hunter to keep for a battle for P4 between him and Deer. So we'll see if that plays out in anything. And by the way, it's 2 seconds here between the top 2.
I'm telling you, he was playing with his food. He knew what he was doing. He kept him within arm's reach. What?
Meanwhile, Vizzy and Ferrari Nut.
Oh!
I said it before, I said Vizzy might look, and Ferrari Nut, I think it's just letting him by. So that's a bit disappointing.
Yeah.
But Vizzy up at the P8. I think Ferrari Nut's just happy to be in the points. So,
that scenario you said with Wexero? Yeah, cancel that.
Yeah, let's just ignore that from my point of view. Doing my best here, folks. Doing my best. So thank Catra once again for doing the podcast from the middle part of the race for me, as I've been dying. But we're doing our best here. Don't forget ACC tomorrow. But here comes Hoop. to look for the move here on Deer for P3. This full podium gets a fast lap race as well. And Deer's going to fight it because of course he will. That's why we love Deer. Side by side these two will go. And Hoop holds on. So Hoop goes to third. And unless anything crazy happens at the front, that's going to be really your top three of the podium.
It's now 3 seconds now.
He's just gone.
He has not let up.
He's just played with him. He's absolutely played with him. And he's gone. So Chandler right now, he could look for a 5-second lead here very soon if he keeps going the way he's going. Wexero close to possibly under DRS of D Hunter once again, but D's got the DRS and who's on 4% battery, so is Wexero as well. These guys absolutely hammering their battery. Roscoe's same thing, but Axe is actually slowly starting to creep up on him. Even though Axe has got a time penalty, Axe is slowly starting to creep up on that battle as well. So interesting to see there. But we've got 3 to go. Chandler 3.8 seconds. Hoop is gone out the window. And really now it's the story of making it to the end with 3 to go.
Yeah, at this point, you've pretty much made your bet. Chandler's, got his gap. Sanchez knows there's no point pushing because at that point you'll just, either make a mistake or, put yourself out of the race. Hoop is 10 seconds behind, and there's no way that he can get that in that little amount of time. He knows, okay, at this point, just build a gap to Deer. Deer knows he needs to get as far away as Wexer as he can, so that's probably the first real pushing battle as you see these 3rd, 4th, and 5th battle. But let's speak about the DRS, or the ERS rather. Why it was so impressive that Chandler had that level of ERS compared to Sanchez for that long is once you use ERS here, it's gone. It's really, really difficult to save it here. There's no way, once you use it, you just can't regenerate it. Even though you have quite a lot of corners where you have that heavy braking, such as turn 4, and you have turn 1, and you have the second DRS straight into that kind of right-left hairpin complex, there's just not a way to save it. So once you use it, you're not getting it back. And that's crucial for Deer because he's hit 0.
There he goes. He's going to try to fight, and there you go, 5-second lead by the way. He's going to try absolutely best he can, and Axe is just taking the limits absolutely everywhere. And absolutely going for it. And he's closing in on Roscoe here, so these two could have a bit of battle at the end. And by the way, Wexero is under that DRS to D-Hunter, so could Wexero have a bit of a fight on his hands? Vizzy comes into the lane, and Martin, I will get that for you in just a second. And we'll watch this battle here. This is for peak 4. Could Wexero find something? Could Wexero see if he can get the opportunity here to go for the move on D-Hunter?
It's going to be difficult. I mean, we know Deer. He knows that this is very much for a position. I mean, he thinks in his mind still from what happened between him and Vizzy that it's going to be a racing incident. That's what you always have to do as a driver. Put it behind you. Deer knows that, and he's not going to let this go at any means. So now we're on the final lap. Deer knows, I can't let it go now. I've done this for 36 laps. What's one more?
I'm that out of it. I thought you were about to say 36 years. We're on the final lap. Wexero now very close here to Deer on these hard tyres. You got also Axe looking for the midfield. Roscoe Arm, even though Axe's time penalty gets it done either way. And I don't know if Wexero's going to have enough tea to go for it. Oh, he thought about it. He thought about it for a second. But Deer might just hold on to this P4. He might just hold on to this P4. Only just. Unless Wexero finds the opportunity in the final corner somehow. Gets the run. But we'll have to wait and see. But at the front, we heard from him in qualifying. And Chandler, he's going to win it. He wins the Dutch Grand Prix. A superb performance. Gets it done. Sanchez, a respectable P2. I'm sure he'll be happy with that. Hoop, what could have been? He could have been in the fight for the lead, but still, a P3's not too bad. And D-Hunt is going to hold on to a top 4. Wexero tried to fight him in the end, but it wasn't enough. And then it's going to be Roscoe, and then it's going to be Axe, And then behind it, it's going to be Vizzy and then Ferrari Nut in a Grand Prix full of strategic racing, but also just trying to get to the end. As Roscoe does get that P6.
So, I mean, it was kind of the race we expected, yet not at the same time. It was definitely more interesting than we thought it was going to be in some aspects. We thought it was just going to be either one giant DRS train from lights to flag, which in some cases it was, or, you know, Chandler putting on a clinic, which also in some cases it was. So it's exactly what expected, and there you go. That's why Vizzy was pushing for that 10-6, and he got it.
Well done to Vizzy there getting that job done. As Fronut's going very, very slowly. I don't think he's out of... Or is he not even in the... Okay, I don't know what's going on with Fronut, but he's going to be P9.
I think he's just coasting across.
I think he's in AI too. But...
Could be.
I don't know why it would be with coasting across, but anyway. That's Dutch Grand Prix done and dusted. We'll get our top 3 in a matter of seconds. Wexro would driver today for the game. But I say it's Chandler for a great performance. And also shout out to Deer as well with a top 4 here tonight. Doing a pretty good job holding off Wexro and a few other guys behind. But there you go. Fastest lap for Vizzy. Getting the job done. And I'll invite our top 3 here for the podium interview. Don't forget, folks, we have... Next week, it's Monza. Tune in for that. That's going to be a fascinating one, no doubt about it. As we'll just await for these interviews here in what has been a fascinating Grand Prix here tonight. Katra, you can kick things off.
All right then. So what we'll do is the usual. Hope to you, P3 then. Obviously, it was not necessarily the result you could have really had, theoretically. But I guess you'll have to settle for it. It's just, unfortunately, the strategy didn't play out. What was it through your eyes?
It was a very boring race that I should have never done. And yes, that's it.
Okay, well that, you know, very sweet, but it's to the point.
Kimi Raikkonen.
Yes.
I would have said even fewer words. But now you have...
Sorry, thanks New Zealand, Ryan.
Hey, yeah,
Right.
facts. Facts, alright. But you probably go from, well, one of the most boring races on the calendar this season to probably what could be one of the most exciting. Monza, the Temple of Speed, a week from now. Oh dear God, we better get our popcorn because this is going to happen. Something is going to kick off. Either going to be fireworks or flames or both. But what do you think is going to happen for your eyes there? What do you think you can go grab a win there?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Blah.
Well, thanks for joining us, Hoop. That was very pleasurable. And congrats on your P3.
Thank you.
Sanchez, then for P2. I said it earlier on, and I'll say it again. You're starting to, I mean, you've kind of started to create a portfolio of results. Obviously, could have grabbed wins in Bahrain and Baku, but here you are, once again, submitting that you maybe could be a dark horse for the championship if Chandler were to continue to miss because he is lazy, I guess. I don't know. What was your excuse again, Chandler?
I have stuff to do in my life, okay?
That's not my problem. All right, Sanchez, to you.
Yeah, that was a very dead race. I had race pace for once, and I actually got a good quality since unfortunately no one showed up, which made me very sad. Yeah, I got Vizzy on the start and just sat there for the rest of the race. That's pretty much all that happened.
Well, regardless, you had to wheel that thing through the 36 laps of Zandvoort. What about Monza a week from now?
I need to figure out if I can race or not, because I think I'm going out of town.
Classic. Well, regardless,
Indeed.
congratulations on your podium P2 for the Dutch Grand Prix. And to Mitchie with Chandler again.
Well, I have, but I'll say them after. Chandler P1, a race where got the good start, controlled the front, had to get past Hoop, and then you played with Sanchez while using no battery, and then you absolutely smoked him with battery at the end. Talk us through it.
Yeah, so practicing with Sanchez before the race, of course he's got like the best tire out of anyone in this league. He doesn't turn the wheel, so I decided I was gonna try saving my tires for once, because this season I've gone with going longer in the first end, so I got fresh tires at the end. And if it stayed without a safety car, I would have went long in the softs. But obviously that didn't happen, so we did longs down the mediums. But my goal was just not really to push. But then Deer in our party said, I'm not even losing any time to Chandler. And so I took that personally, and I pulled about second lap on him in about 7 laps. It went from like 10 seconds to 8 seconds in 7 laps. So, I mean, it was kind of Deer Hunter's fault for me pushing. But yeah, don't compare yourself to me, Deer. But yeah. So, I don't know how I actually broke Deer. It seemed like he had to have made a mistake. But yeah.
I blew myself up on the curb. That's what happened.
Figured.
Now, next week if you're here, Bonza, thoughts?
I think I will be here. You can have the best pace there in the world. You can have the best quality pace, best race pace, but with all the straights, I mean, there's no... It requires big mistakes from the car's mind to break DRS. So it'll just be about playing it right. Like, last year I ended up winning it because I ended up playing it right. Actually, it was more Bailey played it wrong than me playing it right. But yeah, it's just about when you overtake for the lead for the last time, because there's going to be lots of lead changes next week. So I can get pole, I can get second, third, doesn't matter. I think the chances are just as good as any other position. So it's going to be a lottery. So yeah.
You're not wrong there. Points! It is 38 points lead for Chandler. Sanchez 20 points behind, and Hoopnam is over the P4. So could be, and also Vizzy is not far behind. So it could be an interesting fight for P2 in the championship. But of course P1, unless Chandler does the big bottle. Teams Championship, 38 points for Mercedes over Haas. So that could still be a fight that could go to the end. Depends how things go out in the last 5 races. So, thank you to our top 3. Thank you to Katra as always. Join us tomorrow for ACC at the Nürburgring. Could be me, could not be. Depends if I am awake or not. Unfortunately, it'll be 500. Also, Martin, thanks for following. And General Smokes, what a name. Thank you very much. We'll see you all next week for